All right, we'll get started. So basically, the purpose of this coaching call today is this is something that we've been wanting to do at Shoot With Me for quite a while. We oftentimes answer very similar questions for new users who are wanting to gain traction on the platform, and sometimes don't know where to start. And part of that is because of the nature of Shoot With Me. It's not a job board, so studios aren't posting jobs and then people apply to them. It works more like Airbnb, where somebody creates their listing for the home that they want to rent out. And then other people, when they have a need for staying somewhere, they search that location and the dates that they have. And then they look at all of the available options. And something I'm regularly telling people is, um, I can list my house on Airbnb. I can list my own home. I can list a rental property. I can list whatever I want. But if I had a tiny little shed without indoor plumbing and it was next to a mosquito infested swamp and it's in the middle of nowhere, there's no restaurants, there's no, activities to do in the area, and I take awful pictures of it and overprice it. Um, and then I list it on Airbnb, I'm not going to gain traction. And I'm never saying to somebody, hey, you are that shack. That's not the point. The point is marketplace platforms, the way that they work in a lot of ways is they commoditize on some level. We have another person joining here, but they commoditize um, the talent pool essentially that people are selecting from when they're looking to hire a second shooter or an assistant or a lead photographer. And the wedding photography industry and other parts of the photography industry, we never want to consider ourselves a commodity. When we're meeting with one of our own prospective clients and we're on the phone, they're not comparing apples to apples. My coverage might be full day coverage, and somebody else might be 8 hours of coverage. And the way that I approach weddings and the planning and involvement that I have leading up to their wedding day might be a completely different experience than somebody else that is simply getting the timeline from the planner or the couple and going into the wedding day blind. So that is kind of how we approach serving our own specific clients. But when it comes to photographers looking to find and hire help for their jobs, they want to be able to compare apples to apples. And one of the ways that they do that is they're looking at somebody's portfolio, they're looking at their experience, their gear list, how far they are from the job. And this is both on Shoot With Me and off Shoot With Me. They're looking at their hourly rates and they're trying to determine, okay, does this person deliver a value that exceeds the rate that they're charging? And I was talking to a photographer recently who, great photographer, has a beautiful profile on Shoot With Me, and he wasn't getting hired to the degree that he wanted to. And I pulled up his profile and I'm looking at it, and he has so much going for him, but his hourly rate was significantly higher than many other people in his local market. And I was having this conversation with him, and I'm like, hey, you have so much going for you. You even have some solid reviews. But at some point, he raised his rate to a level where he's no longer as attractive to hiring studios as he was when he was $40 an hour cheaper than he currently was. And when I'm talking to photographers on Shoot With Me and I'm trying to help them position their profile in a way that is as attractive as possible, that's going to include their portfolio, it's going to include their bio, it's going to include their reviews, their hourly rate, how many days they have available. There are a lot of factors that go into that. So I'm going to pull up my profile, and just so everybody's aware, I'm the founder of Shoot With Me, but I'm also a working photographer. And I built this platform um, out of a frustration that I had many years ago after my go-to second shooter, who was a full-time employee of my studio, she decided she hated doing weddings. And I had 30 plus jobs that summer that I had to scramble to find talent for. And I went into local Facebook groups and I would say, hey, here's the job I need help for. Here's the hourly rate. Here are all the details. And then I would get people applying and sending their Instagram or their gallery links or their website. And it was chaos. And Shoot With Me was kind of born out of that frustration of not having a really easy way to compare apples to apples. And the other thing is, um, every time I posted a job on Facebook, being the human that I am, I was getting distracted by, oh, that post is interesting. I'm going to click there and I'm going to read some comments. And it was taking me away from the actual work that I had to do in running my business. Maybe I'm the only one that gets distracted by social media from time to time, but my hunch is that that's not the case. So I wanted to create something that allowed me as a photographer to get in, do the job that I needed to do, which was finding talent for my jobs, do that process, and then get back to real work, things that were actually going to move the needle for my business. So, kind of started strategizing with how to build that, found a developer. The rest is history. We're here now where there are 13,000 plus people on Shoot With Me who are both hiring talent, looking for second shooters, assistants, videographers, whatever, for their jobs. And then there are a lot of people that are looking to get hired and fill the gaps of their schedule. So, uh, all of that being said, essentially, if you have been on Shoot With Me for a little while and you haven't gotten a job offer, the way that it works is when a photographer creates, actually, I'm just going to share my screen and I'm going to walk you guys through it just so you see what other people do when they're hiring talent for a job. So this is my profile. We're going to come back to that in a second. But if I need to hire help for a job, I'm coming here, I'm clicking hire help. Let's say I need a second shooter. This is going to be Joe and Sarah's wedding. And let's say I need somebody on September 18th. And I know it's going to be 8 hours for the job time. I'm going to put in 8 hours. If I know the time, I put it in there. Let's say it's in Philadelphia. Sometimes people put the venue in, they can do that. Job type. In the notes section, they'll put stuff that's relevant to the job that they are uh, hiring for. So let's say it's at 5 different locations throughout the day, and there are a lot of logistical details. Sometimes they put them in there. But they're hitting continue, and what's happening is they're seeing everybody on the platform that is local and available for their job. So ultimately, what's happening, and I'm just letting somebody else in the room here. Ultimately, what's happening is they're seeing this list of people. So for this specific job, there are 437 people available. Um, and right now, anybody with this heart icon, they are people that I have listed as a favorite. I've worked with them, I'm familiar with them, and I'm comfortable offering them my job. I can see at a glance their reviews, how many they have, what their global review score is. I can see their hourly rate, their distance from the job. One of the factors that controls where people are on this list is how often they log in to Shoot With Me. So, somebody that created an account 3 years ago and hasn't logged in since, they are going to be pressed down very low on this list. That's not the only factor that controls where they are on the list, but it is a major factor because we want people who are engaging with Shoot With Me on a regular basis. They're updating their profile, their portfolio is being updated. They're looking at dates that they're no longer available. They're removing availability. Every time you log on, you basically get bumped to the top of the list. So you naturally just have more opportunities. So I know that the people at the top of this list are going to be more responsive to job offers when they get them. So let's say I'm looking for somebody. I might click this first person and I can look at their portfolio. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for not only beautiful portraits of couples, that's important, but if I'm looking for a second shooter, I'm looking to see, hey, do they have complementary images that I'm wanting my second shooter to get? So I'm seeing a lot of portraits here, but candids are awesome. Interesting detail shots. Um, Shots of wedding parties, shots of prep. I'm looking for a variety of pictures in somebody's portfolio if I'm considering hiring them to second shoot. Because if I'm focused on doing a lot of the portraits of the couple and the more official stuff on the wedding day, I want to know my second shooter is going to be shooting other interesting things and making the gallery more dynamic. So for me, at a glance, I'm looking at their portfolio. One of the things that you can do to really optimize your portfolio is have a lot of variety in there. So yes, have some portraits of couples, that's great, but throw in other things um, that second shooters are naturally going to capture on the wedding day, so that I know you have range from everything from getting ready and those details in the morning through supporting shots throughout the ceremony and reception to end of the night stuff, interesting dance party stuff. I want to see that whole range. So I know I'm not alone in that. I talk to a lot of lead photographers, studios who are hiring consistently through Shoot With Me. Those are the things that they're looking for as well. One of the other dynamics that I'm specifically looking for is lots of images in their portfolio. So you have to have 30 images in your portfolio in order for your profile to be complete. People that have 100 images in their portfolio, they max it out. They are simply getting more job opportunities. I'm looking at Rachel's profile here, and shot after shot after shot is a beautiful image. So I know that she delivers consistently beautiful work over time. It's not like she has a couple stunning shots and then the rest are kind of slop. So really take time to curate your portfolio and show the range of your work. Now, if you have a profile where you're also trying to lead shoot, yeah, maybe there's a little bit more of a bias towards showing lead shooter type shots. So maybe a little heavier on portraits of the couple, full wedding parties, primary angles during the reception and the ceremony, things like that. But for people who are exclusively looking to second shoot, think about the types of shots you're naturally getting as a second shooter. So that's where I'm looking first. So let's say Rachel had no reviews and she had never been hired before, and I'm exclusively looking at her portfolio. I go into this experience with her having a lot more confidence than I would otherwise. And if you currently don't have any reviews, maybe you even haven't been offered a job yet, I'm going to get into some strategies in a bit to kind of help build momentum on that front. So I'm also looking at the hourly rate. Where I'm based, quality second shooters charge anywhere from 55 to 75 an hour. If I look at somebody's profile and they're in that range and they have some reviews, I'm pretty confident that if I offer them the job, they're going to do a great job. Um, Now, in Rachel's case, I can come down here and look at her reviews, and I can see some familiar names, people that I've personally worked with, people that I know and trust. If they had a great experience with her, it's a lot more likely that I will as well. So that is a benefit for the studio when they have reviews that they can check out. But again, not everybody has reviews on the platform yet. And I'm going to get into some of those ways that you can speed up the process for getting reviews. And I'm going to tell you about a feature that's coming soon that will enable you to get reviews independent from bookings on Shoot With Me. But I'm going to get to that in a little bit because I'm very distractible and I don't want to ramble. So the other things I'm looking at um, are their location. I'm looking at their badges they've earned on Shoot With Me. So on Shoot With Me, one of the things that we built in a while ago was just the ability for photographers to interact with the platform um, and showcase that they are engaged users. So Rachel has a fast responder badge. That means that when she gets a booking request, she is responding accept or decline very fast. So I know if I offer her a job, even if she's not available, she's at least going to decline it and have the job go to somebody else. If they're a repeat hire, it means that a studio is going back to this person on a regular basis, and it just increases that trust. Somebody that's been a favorited user means at least five other photographers that have hired her have marked her as a favorite and they want to hire her again. So Rachel's getting a lot of love here because she was at the top of the list. But I'm also looking at their bio a little bit. It's not the end of the world. If you have a basic bio, hey, this is who I am, this is my experience, this is how I'm going to provide additional value to the people that hire me. That's all great. But if your portfolio isn't solid and your rates, are higher than people want to pay, the bio isn't going to swing people one way or another. Um, I don't know if you guys have hired talent in the past, but in my experience, if I hire a second shooter and they are doing things above and beyond second shooting throughout the day, they're being helpful, they're helping carry, bridesmaids junk from place to place, or they're being super helpful with the bride or groom, or the couple in some way. Those things elevate my brand, and the experience that I'm delivering. So sometimes photographers here will mention like how they go above and beyond for the people that hire them. So if you need to look at your bio and see if there are improvements there, I highly recommend that. Photographers are also looking at gallery links. A portfolio of images of 100 images is only going to show so much. So if you have, a PicTime gallery, Pixie set, or your website, and you have a more fully curated list of images somewhere in there, I highly recommend that you drop those gallery links in your profile. The more dynamic your profile is, you're simply going to get more opportunities. Gear ecosystem, the gear you have, itemize your gear, showcase um, what specific gear you're looking for. Some photographers care more than others. Some are like, hey, I only hire Nikon or Sony or Canon. Others, it's not that big of a deal. But they want to know that you have a full kit of quality professional gear so that they can rely on you to capture the shots that you need. I've been in a pinch before where I had to hire somebody outside of my normal area, and not a lot of people had reviews there, and I was basically going off of their portfolio and their rate and some of the other details. And maybe they didn't have as robust of a gear list that I was looking for. Yeah, it's a risk. But you're not going to go out and buy $5,000 worth of brand new lenses just to be more attractive on Shoot With Me. That doesn't make sense. But showcase what you have and what you regularly shoot with. I'm also looking at these skills. If I see somebody that puts literally every single skill in there, every single ethnic wedding possibility that we have on the platform and all of this stuff, and then I look at their portfolio and it doesn't reflect it, that's a red flag for me. So I've regularly had people that put in, off-camera flash and they have experience with that, and then I look at their portfolio and it's all natural light. That tells me that this person is probably not quite understanding what this skill section is for. So when you're curating your list of skills, really only put things on that list that you're showcasing in your portfolio. You don't want that to be a red flag for why somebody passes by, because they're like, well, if this person says they have experience with off-camera lighting and they're not showcasing any of that, can I really trust that anything else in their profile is true or helpful? So if I'm hiring somebody and I look at Rachel and I think she's a good fit, I'm going to add her to my job queue. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to do this same process. I'm going to go to the next person and I'm going to do that same exact review structure that I just did with Rachel before. And I'm going to add them to my job. And I'm going to go through here and I'm going to find people that align with what I'm looking for my job. And I'm going to keep going through this process. And I might end up with, a dozen photographers that are a good fit for my job. I have five selected now. Typically for my jobs, I do 10, 15 people. Um, and where I am, there are a lot of people that have quality reviews. You might be in a location where Shoe With Me is not quite as active yet, and you're actually at an advantage in a lot of ways, because if you can get a couple early reviews and you're engaging with the platform, you're logging in every couple weeks and you're showing up at the top of search results on a regular basis, you're naturally going to be seen by more people and you're going to get more opportunities if your profile is set up really well, your hourly rates are attractive. Uh, it's just bound to happen. And again, I'm going to get to the review thing in a second. But what would happen then if I'm actually creating this job is I'm going to add these selected people to my job queue. And I'm either going to do a ranked offer or an instant offer. A ranked offer allows me to basically put these people in whatever order I want. Some people will do it by their hourly rate. Some people will do it by people they're familiar with. Some people don't mess with it at all. I have it in the order that they were placed in, from building out my queue. And then they're setting the time window for the response. If this job is 3 months out, they're probably putting a bigger response window. If it's happening this weekend, they're going to put a shorter window in there. Essentially, what that means is when I hit start job offer queue, Rachel would get an email and a text message from Shoot With Me saying, Nathan would like to hire you for this job. Here are the details. They can click into the job on Shoot With Me and see if it's a job they want to accept. If she accepts the job, great. I have my person. She's working with me. She syncs her calendar. We communicate either on Shoot With Me or outside of Shoot With Me, go over the details for the job. Bada bing, bada boom. We both win. If she declines the job or doesn't respond to it in time, Ali gets the job offer. Same thing. If she doesn't respond or runs out of time or declines the job, Adam would. So it keeps going down through the list. Um, you want to make sure that you're being added to queues as often as possible, and your profile is positioned in a way where you're at the top of the list. Because if somebody puts it in their specific order, you might be the third or fourth person in the queue on a consistent basis. You're really, really close, but there's a reason that somebody is offering the job to somebody else. Um, every month, we send out a stats email to all of our users. If you haven't seen that, maybe check your spam folder, check your promotions tab. Sometimes our Shoot With Me emails end up in the wrong inbox. And just a quick note on that, and this is something that I'm going to revisit a little bit later on. If you did not whitelist Shoot With Me's domain in your inbox, it's likely that you've been missing job opportunities. We hear it so often where people they email us or they shoot us a message on live chat and they're like, "Hey, I haven't gotten a job offer. You know, what's the problem?" And we pull up their profile on our back end, and we're like, "You've gotten 6 job offers in the last month and a half." And they're like, "Oh my gosh." And we're like, "Hey, check your spam folder, check your promotions tab. You need to whitelist that email address." Because ultimately, at the end of the day, we don't control exactly where your emails go in your inbox. And sometimes inboxes flag our emails as promotions or marketing emails or whatever. So make sure you do that. That is absolutely important. But the goal is getting considered for jobs, getting in more queues, and then doing what you need to do to get higher in queues. Now, if somebody's doing an instant offer, essentially they're doing it because they're in a pinch and they need to hire somebody really fast for a job. Let's say my second shooter, for whatever reason, is unable to shoot on Saturday, and I need to hire somebody right now. I'm going to do an instant offer. When I start this instant offer, everybody in my queue gets the job right away. And it essentially becomes a race for you guys to be the first person to get in there and accept the job offer. And it does suck when you get an instant offer and you're tied up with something or you have some other obligation and you're not able to log in and accept the job for a few hours and somebody beats you to it. It's happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to some of you as well. Um, it sucks, but the reality is that photographer who's in a pinch, they don't have time to wait around to see how many people reply to the job and say, "Yeah, I'm available." They're just looking to find somebody that they know and trust or that they're confident in to have them cover that job. So when we built out the instant offer thing, it was kind of a bittersweet moment for us because the original ranked queue, we loved it because it enabled photographers to put everybody in the specific order they want. And we never wanted somebody getting a job opportunity that they couldn't actually accept. And that happens naturally with the instant offer. So it's unfortunate when you can't respond fast enough, but understand why that is. So I'm going to exit this because I'm not actually offering this job to anybody. All of that being said, I don't know why that popped up, but all of that being said, um, that is the process that a photographer goes through when they're considering somebody. So I'm going to go into my profile real quick. And naturally, I've been on a very long time. I created my account when we rolled out the platform, and we initially launched in the Philadelphia area and had close to 800 people join the first month from our local market. And a lot of people that joined early and they were appearing at the top of search results and they got their first opportunities, they were consistently getting hired over and over again. Now, what ends up happening sometimes is when somebody gains a lot of traction and they're being hired consistently, they start saying to myself, "Hey, I'm going to raise my rates." because I'm getting tons of job offers and I'm going to raise my rates to make more money on these jobs. And what ultimately happens sometimes is you might have some people that still come back to you on a consistent basis. That's great. But they might start looking at other people's profiles and saying, hey, this person's great over here and they're charging this, but this person also is amazing and they're $10 an hour less. So they're comparing apples to apples. And ultimately, what is the limiting factor a lot of times is the hourly rate. So I would say if you're looking to get hired and you have yourself listed at a normal hourly rate, but you're not getting the traction that you want, and there are other people in your market that are, one of the strategies that we recommend is for a period of time, lowering your hourly rate so that when somebody looks at you, they're saying, oh my gosh, this person's value that they're delivering me far exceeds the rate that they're charging me. And you get that one opportunity and you wow them and you get that review and you have that happen a couple times with a couple photographers. Now all of a sudden they're a lot more likely to want to hire you again and offer you a job again. And you build that momentum, you start earning some badges, and all of a sudden you are able to slowly increase your rate. You just want to keep an eye on it because, again, if you raise it too much, you might be back in that same position where you're not getting the volume of job offers you want. The other thing that I want to mention is these certifications. Um, they're available for all users. Clicking this Get Certified button. These are courses that we have put together, both internally and using third-party resources, where they're courses that you can invest in, and then ultimately uh, you can have them displayed on your profile. And if you don't have reviews or you don't have a lot of reviews, those certifications will kind of be a blinking light for people um, to consider you. They can see that you've invested in your skill set, and it just gives you a little bit more cachet. And I do see there's a question here. Go ahead.
Um, Hi, Nate.
Hey, how are you doing?
Regarding hourly rates, is there a way to find out what the average is in a particular market? So, like, I remember when you first launched Shoot With Me up in the Philly, New Jersey area, because I was there at the time.
Yeah.
But I've since moved to Atlanta, and I still have a hard time figuring out what the landscape is down here.
Yeah. Yeah, great question. So what you want to do is you want to come up to favorites and then go to browse talent. And what you're going to see is a list of everybody that's on the platform that's local and available. Not, sorry, that's local and available for a day in the future. It's not considering a specific day. So right now, what I'm looking at is second shooters within 100 miles of my zip code. The prices might vary. So somebody might have $60 for one day and then $70 for another day. So we don't have like that range listed here, but what you can do is you can just click into somebody's profile and you can see what the range is of their rates. And we actually encourage, this is a great question. We encourage people to do this early on so that they're not significantly overpricing themselves compared to other people. So if somebody is available on the platform as an assistant second shooter and lead photographer, it's going to showcase all of their rates and if there's variance in their rates. Like I charge more for dates around holidays. I might charge more for a Saturday than a Tuesday. Some people do, some people don't. But what I would recommend doing is go to that browse talent, look at the role that you're looking to get hired for, and then go through 50 or 100 profiles and see what people are charging and look at their portfolio and then honestly compare it to yourself. And also take into consideration, does this person have reviews already or don't they? And again, some markets, they're just simply not as active yet on Shoot With Me, but you're actually in an advantage situation if that's where you're at. Because if you can get those reviews early on, all of a sudden you stick out like a sore thumb in a good way because somebody can see, hey, this person's already been hired here and somebody had a great experience with them. I know I can trust them. maybe more than I can trust somebody else that hasn't been hired yet. Does that make sense? Cool. So coming back to the profile, some of the things that you can do also to gain traction in your local market and in more broad markets is by joining communities. So communities are essentially groups that exist outside of Shoot With Me, maybe Facebook groups, maybe education groups, um, etc. There's a variety of communities that have elected to be on Shoot With Me. And essentially, you can join up to 3 communities. What this does is it acts as a filter for when somebody is creating a job, they are able to isolate people that are also part of their community. So, a friend of mine, Esteban Gill, he has a community, Steel and Flint. He's based in Connecticut, and he has a ton of engagement in his community, and um, people are constantly sharing work and commenting and engaging with one another. So you start to build these connections where you see familiar names um, and you just get familiar with people. Maybe you don't know them personally, but you know them through this community. Well, if I'm creating a job and I filter based on that community, and let's say I have a job in Connecticut or somewhere else, and I see somebody that is a part of that community, I'm more likely to want to offer them the job because I know that they're legit. I have some quasi connection to them. So take a look at the communities. If you're not a part of any of these communities, maybe you join them on Facebook or wherever they're actually located. Most of them are free communities. They're not like things you have to pay for. Um, Join those communities, and all of a sudden, you start to kind of make connections there, and those people might be more likely to hire you. Another thing, we looked at Rachel's profile a minute ago, um, but a couple of years ago, we offered this video bio situation. Essentially, what it allows you to do is film yourself talking to the camera. Hey, I'm Nathan. I've been shooting weddings for this long. This is how I approach my craft. This is how I'm an asset to you. Basically, you're taking the stuff that you put in your normal bio, but you're speaking to the camera and letting your personality shine a little bit. Um, if I get on my bio and I'm like, my name is Nathan and I'm a photographer and I am passionate. Well, I might be like, oh my gosh, like this person is a bot. Like I'm not going to um I'm not going to want them necessarily around, my clients and providing that experience. Like I want people that are fun to be around and are helpful and engaging. And that's something that you can have communicated through your video bio in a way that your text bio is never going to do. So again, so much of what makes you attractive is how robust your profile is. And the more you have in there, the more you take advantage of those recommended things, the more likely you are to get job offers because people are going to know you and trust you and be confident. Um, Gallery links, like I said, gear lists, like I said, availability, having plenty of availability in the system is going to lead to more job opportunities. I've seen so many times where somebody is like, well, I want to get hired October 14th this year, and they make that one day available. Well, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. The more opportunities you have for being available and showing up in others' search results, the more opportunities you're going to have for jobs. So that's kind of how to optimize your profile. That's the prerequisite to everything else that happens on Shoot With Me. Your portfolio, your profile, your hourly rates, and also your working radius. So if you're in an area where you can easily drive 75 miles in all directions and it's not the end of the world, um, maybe that's the radius that you want to be showing up in search results with. Now, if you're in Manhattan and it takes you 3 hours to get 4 miles up the street, your working radius might just naturally be smaller. So, depending on where you live and how far you're willing to go, is also going to play into how many search results you're showing up in. I talked with a photographer the other day um, who got a job offer that was very, very far away. And he was like, well, can I charge travel fees? Well, no, you can't. I mean, you can try, but the understanding is on Shoot With Me, when a studio creates a job, they want to see people appearing in their search results that don't require any travel fees. I don't want to create a job in Philadelphia and offer the job to somebody that's in LA. And then they're like, oh, by the way, I need a flight, a hotel, meals, car rental. It's like, no, I want to hire somebody that's local to my job. I don't want to hire somebody and have to pay all these different travel fees for them to come there. That's part of why Shoot With Me exists, is so that people can hire local talent for their job and not need to worry about the travel dynamic. So keep your radius where you're willing to go without additional fees. And listen, if you get offered a job and you're like, hey, I have a wedding the next day and I start really early, and this one's, maybe a job I would normally accept, but I don't want to get home at midnight and have to back everything up and then start at 8 a.m. in the morning. You just decline the job. Declining the job is always better than letting it go and expiring. Uh, and that kind of leads me to another point real quick. Always respond to job offers. If you let job offers decline, you get moved to the bottom of search results. And you kind of get like docked a little bit because you're basically creating an experience for the hiring studios that is really frustrating. If I offer all of you guys a job right now and you don't respond to it, and let's say it's a ranked offer and each of you is taking 3 days to time out of that job, I'm going to get irritated. I'm going to be like, why aren't you guys responding to this job offer? Just decline the job so that the job offer can go to somebody else that might accept the job. So always be responding to job offers. And again, you need to know those job offers are coming by white labeling or whitelisting the email address in your browser. All of our transactional in-app emails come from notifications at shootwith.me. That needs to be something that ends up in your primary inbox at all times. Uh, the reviews dynamic is something that we know is frustrating oftentimes for newer users. We have so many talented photographers who join the platform and they're starting in a market that has traction, and there are a lot of people that have reviews already. And it can be really frustrating for those people to be passed over from time to time. So what I always recommend is, if you have any upcoming jobs that somebody hired you, um, for second shooting, lead shooting, assisting, anything happening in the future where you're working with somebody else, get that job on Shoot With Me. Just get them to go into Shoot With Me, create a free studio account, offer you the job, you accept it, and then when that job passes, both of you are going to review each other, and there's one. And if you have five of those in the future and those studios create their free account and hire you, they're getting the review cred, you're getting the review cred, and you can both build some momentum. But sometimes people are like, hey, I don't have any connections. I just moved to a new market. I don't have any upcoming jobs. Well, do you have any jobs from the past where you worked with somebody and had a great experience? And you could reach out to them and say, hey, we've worked together in the past. We've had great experience working together. Can you create a fictitious job on Shoot With Me? I don't say this broadly to our entire email list. I say it in small group settings because I don't want people abusing it. But I want you to be able to leverage those relationships and those working opportunities you had in the past. If you create a job for tomorrow that represents a job you guys shot in the past, and then you review each other after that, that's totally fine. We're not trying to be like clowns about this. We're trying to make it possible for people to actually trust the reviews on the platform. And that's one of the ways that you can kind of work around it. Early on, we had some photographers who created two different accounts and started hiring each other. And we quickly realized that they were fraudulent accounts and we suspended those. So don't do anything that's like that type of level. But if Quality Studio is hiring you and the job is on a Tuesday and then you do one for Thursday or Wednesday or whatever, those are totally fine. Um, what we're rolling out in the not too far future is a feature called reviews independent from a job. So very similar to how Amazon works, where I don't know if you've ever bought anything from Amazon and you read the reviews. There are some that are verified reviews where somebody bought this product through Amazon and Amazon has that history. And when that person leaves the review for the product, they can see this person legitimately bought whatever it was, whatever gizmo or gadget you bought. So it's a verified review. But I might go to a product that I purchased from the website, or somewhere else or whatever, and I leave a review on Amazon, they don't have a record that that actually happened through them. So it shows up slightly different. Um, but we're going to be doing something similar where every user is going to have a custom review link. And I could share that review link with everybody that I've worked with in the past and just simply ask them to leave me a review. And they don't have to create the job on Shoot With Me and go through that entire process. It'll be kind of a streamlined version where they give the review a title, they leave a review for you like normal. It would show up like a normal review, and it's like a 2 minute process for them to do that. And you send that to whoever you want to review you, and all of a sudden you have 10 plus reviews, and you're showing up as trustworthy and reliable in a way that is somewhat challenging right now. And long story short, um, I'm a wedding photographer, right? Like I've been doing this for 19 years. And when I set out to solve the problems that I saw in the industry that I love and care for, um, I wasn't coming from a expert developer, app building background. There are a lot of things where I was like, hey, this is kind of how I want this platform to work. And over time, we saw how people were using it, and we said, hey, we need to tweak this or improve that or make changes here and there. Um, and we do those changes when we're able to. Um, so if you guys have ideas, if you have ways that you see that this platform could be better or serve you better, please reach out to me. I know some of you have. I've had private conversations with a handful of you guys. We want to grow this thing to be the absolute best resource for photographers and videographers to find and hire talent and get hired and fill the gaps of their schedule. Um, it's not like I come into this relationship with this platform and say nobody else has the expert perspective that I do. Um, so please, if you have other ideas for how we can improve the platform and improve the experience you've had, please share them with me. But that feature, the reviews independent from a job, is a way that you will be able to gain traction if you don't yet have reviews. I've also had conversations with people who typically hire their spouse or a regular go-to person. If that is you, and you're like, hey, there's only like a couple jobs a year that I actually need to hire somebody else, we're happy to give them a complimentary account. Like if since you guys are paid users, we're happy to give somebody else a complimentary account, and you go ahead and you hire them for the jobs that you need them, or they hire you, etc. And all of a sudden, you guys are both winning, and you're finding value. Our number one goal is not to make as much money on every single user as possible. We're trying to create an environment where photographers can easily find and hire talent for their jobs, and not be super stressed out about that process. Yeah, if we make money in the process, that's great. Um, but that's not where we're at right now. It's not like, okay, anybody that joins the platform right now, if they don't pay us a bajillion dollars to be on here, we're not going to help them out. We keep the membership rate very, very low for a reason, is we want as many people to be using it as possible. So keep an eye out for that update about the reviews independent from a job. And if you don't have many reviews or any reviews yet, that's something that you're going to want to take advantage of right away. And if you have a lot of reviews and you have a lot of relationships with people that have hired you outside of Shoot With Me, still take advantage of it, because the more reviews you have, the more likely you are to get job offers. I have 140 reviews on Shoot With Me. Um, I have photographers that I had no connection to, and they saw some previous reviews and they started offering me jobs, and now they consistently hire me, both to lead shoot or second shoot or whatever. And I'll sometimes hire them. And you build these relationships, and this flywheel gets going. And all of a sudden, in a year or two, you have dozens and dozens and dozens of reviews, and you're no longer stressing about filling those gaps of your schedule because you did the things that you needed to do early on. So any questions with anything we talked about? And if not, or once we do answer those questions, if any of you want to share your profile in the chat, we'll pull it up and we'll dissect it together a little bit. Go ahead, Deb.
Hey Nathan, sorry. I have a quick question. Actually, a couple questions.
Yeah.
Um, Do you have any plans of, extending this into in some sort of a mobile app thing that with notifications and everything? I know you said you send, I mean, you get a text message when someone does get hired, but I don't know, for some reason I could be the only one, but I love apps and I have apps of everything on my phone. Um, Helps me much better, especially when it comes to availability updates and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's question one. And then I have a related question to that, if I could ask that together, is
Yeah.
if not an app, your calendar, the availability, is there a way or you have a roadmap to sync it up with maybe, say, Google Calendar or something? Because my Pixie set calendar right now, I'm synced up with my Google Calendar. That way, if I'm putting something on the calendar that, hey, I'm gonna take my son to a soccer game or a basketball game, that shows, I mean, that basically blocks my booking calendar, and
Mhm.
so someone can't take that. Automatically availability gets updated. So is there something on the roadmap for that?
Yeah. Both excellent questions. Thank you for asking. We absolutely want to do the mobile app. It would probably be a similar version to what our mobile experience is right now, but with push notifications. Um, we know that it can be a struggle making sure people know they have a job offer or have a message from another user or whatever. And being able to send an actual push notification to somebody um, would be a huge win. Now, obviously, people have to opt in to push notifications, and if they don't, then it doesn't matter. You know, if they unsubscribe from our notifications email and they unsubscribe from text messages and then don't allow push notifications, and then they get a job offer, our hands are somewhat tied because that person has basically blocked us out from all of the channels that we can communicate with them with. But simply for awareness of job opportunities and critical in-app things that they need to do, that's the reason we would launch the mobile app. It's less about studios using the mobile app to actually create a job because you can see you can see what it looks like on my desktop, right? Like I can see portfolio images, I can click into them and they'll appear big. Doing that in a mobile experience might be harder to vet people, but it is more about getting those push notifications to people so that they know they have job opportunities coming. So that is coming. It's coming after the reviews independent from a job because we want to basically make it so that people can gain traction on the platform a little bit earlier on when they join, and there's something for them to do to kind of set them apart from everybody else. Your second question, right now, let me go to my calendar. So right now, the sync calendar is a one-way sync. So it's taking my jobs on Shoot With Me and sending them to Google. Uh, what our concern was about having two-way sync is, let's say on Saturday, I have something in my calendar at noon that says take out the trash. And like I put in like a task reminder or something very simple like that in my calendar that could potentially block me from showing up in other people's search results. Or somebody might put something in their calendar that is, hey, if I don't have anything else important to do on this day, I'm going to do this thing, clean out the garage, fix things around the house or whatever. But if they got a job offer to lead shoot or second shoot, they're going to take that every single time. So solving that conundrum is one of the things that we're trying to figure out. And one of the things that we thought of doing, tell me if you like this idea, is and my CRM does a similar thing where if I get a booking or an inquiry from a couple for a certain date, I get a little notification that says double booking warning. And it's not just looking at bookings from clients that are in my CRM. I can click that and see everything that shows up in my calendar from Google. And there are times where it's absolutely stuff that is not urgent and not going to prevent me from accepting that wedding inquiry booking in the same way. So we may do something where let me go back to this job. You can still see my screen, right?
Yep.
Cool. So we might do something where like over everybody's name here, there might be like a confirmed available, which means, hey, we looked at their calendar and there's literally nothing else in their schedule for that day. And they show up with like a green, overlay over their thing. And then other people might show up as like orange, where there's something in their calendar, and this person may be available or they might not. But it's still worth offering the job to them, and then they can make the decision whether they're going to accept it or decline it. So um, that's an idea, but I'm totally open if you have other creative ways to display that and not have take out the trash be a blocker for somebody's calendar.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that too.
Yeah.
There are I the way I put it on my Google Calendar is if I'm putting something as a reminder for myself, I just say the visibility to be free. That way it does not show up in my business calendar as occupied. But anyways, I think there are two sides to every coin, and we've got to look at it. But I just wanted to understand that. The last question, if you can allow me a few more
Yeah.
minutes, I mean a couple minutes,
Yeah,
is
go ahead.
the fact that for a new kid on the block like me, um who's been doing families and portraits and everything for a while, but just not had the chance of a wedding per se.
Yeah.
Um, Only a handful, couple of them under the belt so far. How does the lack of a robust portfolio, um, I mean, what's your advice? Because that's also a reason probably why nobody wants to talk to me. Like that this
Yeah.
guy doesn't have anything.
Yeah. Did you drop your profile in the chat?
I haven't. That's because I haven't been on shoot with me for a long time, so I have to update it with one of the recent weddings that I did. So
Okay.
that's the reason why. But I mean, right now it's almost like blank, but I'll still put it up
Yeah.
just so everybody could roast me. But that's okay.
Nobody's gonna roast you. That's not the goal. Let me stop the share of my current screen, and then I'm gonna pull up the first person that dropped their profile in and give some feedback. And the goal is not to make anybody feel bad or anything like that. It's constructive, right? So if I offend you, I apologize. But I will. It's supposed to be constructive. Cool. So, Chris, thank you for sharing yours. I'm going to pull yours up here. Awesome. Can everybody see it all right? Cool. So,
Yes.
awesome. So, great first impressions, Chris. Your your portfolio is beautiful. Um, your rates are right in line with where they should be. You have reviews, you have the certification, you have badges. Have you hired people through Shoot With Me in the past?
I think so, but it's been a while. What you talked about of like we all have our people and we just send them text messages.
Right.
Putting it through here would help build each other up. So I think I might start doing that as well.
Yeah.
And then that would also help when it's like, did I message them? Were they available? Were they not? And I could just do the ranked and it can go down the list for me. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good idea.
So, um, I just got somebody that has hired me through Shoot With Me in the past, but she doesn't exclusively use Shoot With Me to do all of her hiring. Um, Basically, she'll reach out to me via Facebook sometimes and say, "Hey, are you available this date?" And a little part of me dies inside every time because I'm like, you could just look at Shoot With Me and see my availability. But
Yep.
whatever, it is what it is. I wasn't available, but one of the things that I've had her do is when I'm not available, I'm like, hey, there are a bajillion photographers local to your job that are amazing, and you can see all their reviews and all of that stuff. Like it is honestly, it's easier sometimes to be able to do everything in one location because um, I can come into my jobs tab here and like see all of my jobs working with other people. And I'm not going to forget something. And then when I sync that to my calendar, I know that I have my own clients coming through my CRM, syncing with my calendar, and I have all of my subcontractor jobs working as a second shooter or lead shooter all in Gmail, and I don't have to remember, oh shoot, so and so texted me and I forgot to add it to my calendar, and now I'm like double booked for a job or whatever. And that happens. So, Chris, I would say if you have some go-to people that you regularly hire, um, or who regularly hire you, if they do not um, do subcontracting themselves, they can create a free studio account and easily hire you. Like it'll take them 3 minutes to sign up for an account and come here and do that.
Good
You have
help.
4 reviews, it's better than none. If
Yeah.
you had 40 reviews, you would likely get a lot more traction on Shoe with Me. I know I've put you and I are not too far away. I'm in
Yeah.
uh, between Philadelphia and Lancaster. I've had you in many of my own job queues.
Hmm.
you, and you do beautiful work. There's nothing about your portfolio that would be a red flag to me. Um, I probably would showcase maybe some more reception stuff.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's what I need to do.
yeah,
Because it's been a while since I've updated this.
yeah,
So this seeing your email pop up about today, I was like, yep, it's a good
yeah,
time to refresh some shoot with me.
yeah. The portraiture stuff, like so this studio shot, really anything that people are not going to hire you for in Shoot with Me, probably don't have it in your portfolio.
For some reason, did there used to be something about studio hiring or something? Because I don't think I would have included that unless there was something that there was a
Yeah,
category to hire or something based off of that.
there it is a category. So
Okay.
there are some photographers who maybe they don't normally shoot like commercial stuff, and maybe they booked a commercial job and they're like, "Hey, can you update our headshots while you're here?" And they're like, "Oh crap, like I can do candids and all that stuff, but I don't do uh, that type of work." And they might look on Shoot with Me, but that is like less than 1%
Oh
of the
yeah,
jobs that are created. It's not worth having it in your portfolio, in my
love
opinion.
that.
So
Consider it gone.
yeah, so like
And like
also,
that, it's way too much from one wedding. Like that was
yeah, right.
that's probably when I first created my account because that is an old wedding.
Yeah. So and they're beautiful pictures, Chris. Like
Yeah,
the issue is not hey,
diversification.
whatever, it's diversification.
Yep.
Showcase as many different situations and lighting and all that stuff as you possibly can, and that's going to stand out.
Yeah.
And since you do videography, this is perfect. You don't need any more than 6 highlight reels. I know there was a job that I personally booked for one of my own couples and they needed video, and you were in my queue based on what I saw here. It's laid out beautifully. I can easily click on any of these and um, watch the trailer, and I would have total confidence in hiring you for that stuff. Um, I would really probably expand your bio a little bit. And
Okay.
again, uh, what I like to see in a bio is this is who I am and this is my experience. These are some unique things about me. So you mentioned, you are husband and father, and like that's good context. Like I know you're like a stable individual. Not that only husbands and fathers are stable individuals, but you know, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There are certain tells in what you put in your bio that can stand out to other people. Same thing with like the headshot. We didn't talk about this earlier, but the nicer your headshot looks, it kind of communicates that like you take this seriously. Like you're not just snapping a random photo of yourself, with your cell phone or something like that. I've seen all kinds of weird things in somebody's biopic. Um, Put something a nice headshot. You can tell somebody's personality a little bit by how they're smiling and that stuff there. Again, these are subtle things
Yeah.
that can give an impression. Um, Anytime you get opportunities, respond as quick as you can. One of the easiest badges to earn is the fast responder one. So even if you get a booking request for a job that you can't take, decline it as soon as possible.
Mine tend to come in on a weekend while I'm in the middle of
I know.
And I'm like, come on, man.
I know, I know. And hey, when we
Yeah.
have that mobile app, that's something where like you're like, oh, swipe, decline,
Yeah.
and it would be faster, but
Yeah.
we just don't
Bummer.
have that yet.
Is
Uh,
there a good way or an ideal way of listing out gear? And it's
Yeah.
like part of me feels like that's just way too much stuff to be
so
listing out.
I like having one piece of gear on each line.
How do
So
you do multiple lines? Because I thought it was.
I think when you come in here, you can, let me go to mine real quick.
Yeah, I'm in mine right now.
No.
Ba, ba, ba. So if you go to edit your profile and come down to list of gear, I think if you hit enter after each one, I think that does it.
Okay.
Um, I could be
It's not anything good.
I could be wrong, but
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think you're wrong because I just did it and it's still
yeah, I'm wrong. It sucks. I'm sorry.
All right.
That's
How
something that we
dare
can
you.
we can talk to our dev team and make it possible for that to happen.
I have other
Um,
ways of doing things.
but
Cool.
yeah, so you're in really good shape. 65 an hour is a totally reasonable rate since you have reviews. If you didn't have any reviews and you had this portfolio, and then you showed up in search results and you were 55 an hour, it would be a no-brainer for somebody to hire
Oh
you.
yeah.
Um, but since you have some reviews, I think you're totally good where you're at.
Yeah.
The other thing, guys, that I want to mention is um, I can't, well, let me go to my profile again. I can't do it from your profile, but your shareable profile link um, is one of the things that you can do where basically you can copy this link here. And if you do see somebody, let's say on Facebook, that's looking for a second shooter, and you drop this link into the chat, it shows up this box that says, hire so and so on Shoot With Me. And when they click it, they go to your profile where they can see your reviews and your portfolio, and everything is really organized in one place rather than sending them to your website. So, something we tell people all the time is your website is designed to attract clients to hire you for jobs. Your Shoot With Me profile is designed to attract other photographers and videographers to hire you for your jobs. They're two different audiences, and what you're showcasing on each one is different. Um, when you make your bio and you lay out your profile on Shoot With Me, your audience is other people who are going to hire you to help with their jobs. So, like the fluff of what you say is very different than, I take timeless pictures, whatever. People say all kinds of goofy things on their websites to try to like emotionally connect clients to them and the experience they deliver. Um, your Shoot With Me profile is a little bit more pragmatic in a lot of ways. So, any questions about your profile, Chris, that I didn't go over?
Nope.
Cool.
All is good.
So let me come down to the next one here. So I'm doing you, David. Hey, buddy, how you doing? You still on the call? All right, I'll just come through this one quick. Um, 38 reviews, that's awesome. Won a Fearless Award. So we have certain features on Shoot With Me uh, that allow you to take uh, external awards and certifications and things like that and bring them on here because people who are familiar with Fearless, they see that Dave has earned a Fearless Award, that's going to be attractive. So lots of badges, great to work for. So he's hired people. He knows that side. Repeat hire. So people are coming back to him on a regular basis. Favorited user, like we talked about earlier, fast responder. These are all excellent signs where I'm going to have tons of confidence in offering a job to Dave because I can see, he is going to engage with my offer. Um, Hourly rates are totally there. Like I'm not going to have any concern in hiring at $55 an hour for what I'm seeing in the portfolio. Um, Dave, couple things. You got your mic on?
Yes. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can
Couple
hear you too.
things
Okay.
that I'm seeing. So the lead photographer or the studio that hires you for the job is going to be handling all the editing, right? But if I see in somebody's portfolio, if I see a variety of editing styles, um, I don't know, it might give me pause. So like this editing style for this guy getting his tie done and
Yeah.
this one,
Yeah.
they're wildly different. Um,
I can see that.
not one is better than the other. It doesn't matter. It's hey, I want to see consistency um in what I'm seeing
Editing.
here because like, if I go into a wedding and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm gonna do all of everything that I do in direct sunlight for this wedding, and then the next one I'm in shadows and shade and I'm doing a completely different style. I might not know what I'm going to get from you as a photographer if I'm going to get more of this or this. Like these are, this shot here is completely different than this one. Neither one is better than the other. It's just probably that consistency that I'd be looking for.
Quick
Uh,
question on that.
Yeah, I get
yeah,
it.
So
Okay.
some of us
Pretty lax.
shoot with various people. Vitaly and I, him and I shoot together all the time. We can shoot each other's styles.
yeah.
So I can go the high power flash, high contrast dance floor, and all of that, but it's not my personal company's marketing brand style, whatever.
Yeah.
Is there a good way to showcase that you can do multiple things?
So what I would do is I'd probably curate your portfolio so that you have your main style in the first half and then showcase a different style, still with you editing it. I wouldn't have somebody else's edits
No. Yeah.
in your gallery, but then also in your bio mention like, hey, my natural style is more of the lighter tones and whatever, and describe that. But I also shoot for people where their style is more off-camera flash and whatever, and I have that included in my portfolio. So like specifically calling that dynamic out in your portfolio from your bio is a really great way to do that. Does that make sense?
Perfectly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, you're good. So Dave, I love
Yes.
I love the shots that you have in here because you're not like, okay, portrait, portrait, portrait. Your goal on Shoot With Me is getting hired to be a second shooter and an assistant. Assistants are non-shooting roles, so like the portfolio is not really important there. But as a second shooter, I'm seeing a lot of groom prep. I'm seeing a lot of reception stuff. I'm seeing a lot of candids and unique things. The work that I'm seeing in this lower section, in my opinion, is what you want to have up top here. Like this image here is not nearly as strong as some of these ones down here. So I probably would just go through your portfolio and rearrange things and maybe cut out things that are outliers. Like this picture here, while I love it, the editing style kind of feels like an outlier from this. This all looks very similar to me. Like in the color and the contrast and the black levels
Me
and things
too.
like that. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so that's my one critique there. Your
No, I like that.
bio is
I will.
yeah, your bio is in great shape. Your gear list is in great shape. Your skills are in great shape. Hey, the dynamic that you speak Spanish is like so awesome because I know if I book a wedding that, the whole family speaks Spanish and some people exclusively speak Spanish, I'm seeing that and I'm like, I'm absolutely hiring you for that job so that it's an easy dynamic for communicating with family members. There are people on Shoot With Me who speak like six different languages, and it's not like, okay, I speak six native languages that were from where I grew up. They're like German, Norwegian, Mandarin. And I'm like, how are you doing this? That's just a tangent. But that's great. And if you guys that are watching this speak multiple languages and don't have that listed, here, absolutely get that in your profile. Um, and yeah, Dave, I'd say you have 38 reviews. I would encourage you still, anytime somebody hires you, if it's not uh, if it's not like a sensitive situation where you don't want to be a pest, try to get them to like formally book you through Shoot With Me. Um, it's free for them to do it. Like it's free to hire through Shoot With Me, and it takes 12 seconds to create the job and find your name and offer you the job. It makes it easy for you to stay organized. I know you can't do that, I'm sure, with like every single person you work with, because they just have their own ways of doing it. But um, getting your global review score up over time is super valuable. And then also, like I said earlier on the call, I don't know if you were on at that time. Every time you log in to shoot with me, you get bumped to the top of search results for any jobs that are created in your area. So everybody that's in the top section of search results, they're getting an infinitely higher quantity of job offers from other studios than other people. And then being quick to respond to them, it just creates this flywheel that helps people win. So great profile here, Dave. Um, Hope that was helpful.
Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Oh, the other thing, Dave, let
fix
me
the
just say
edit
this.
stuff.
Your availability, um, are these really the only dates you have available in September?
Yeah,
You are a busy man.
a little bit.
Yeah. So I would just say keep an eye on that um
I
and make
don't
sure
know
you're
if I
updating it from time to time.
I will.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for sharing.
No, thank you so much. Very helpful. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
you
Take
got
care,
it.
man. Bye-bye.
All right. So let's go to Jason here. Jason, you still on the call?
Yes, I'm still here.
Perfect. Do you go by Jay?
Jay, whatever's easiest.
Yeah, perfect. So, do you do second shooting as well?
No, I am new to photography within
Okay.
like seriously think about doing photography in the last couple of years. I mean, it's like a hobby right now, but
Yeah.
it's something I'm looking to get into more on the side of like more professional gigs just to learn as well as like, maybe making a little money. But I've also feeling like from everyone's conversation here, everyone is a wedding photographer. I don't want to do weddings because I am not built for that type of environment,
Yeah.
energy that comes with that. So
Yeah.
I don't know if this is even really probably a good place for me, seeing
Yeah.
that everyone does
What are you looking to do?
probably anything that's not photography like that's not wedding photography, like things are more low stress, more things like even events. I might be open to doing those or exploring that space, but just yeah, anything really else otherwise kind of
Okay.
open.
So I that's helpful. Thank you. Right now, pretty much, I don't know, 85% of the jobs that are booked on a shoot with me are weddings, mitzvahs, parties, things where photographers need to hire um, help for those specific things. So for second shooting jobs, it's probably 100% weddings, events, mitzvahs, other types of things like that. Now, assistants, commercial shooters will bring them along. Sometimes they have individual portrait sessions and they need somebody to carry a light or whatever. Those things happen sometimes. It's just not what's as prevalent on shoot with
Yeah.
me as other things. I see in your bio you have your gear list listed out here. Uh,
Yeah.
After the call today, send me your website. If you have one, do you have a website?
I'm only like a professional like work website. I do have a Smug Mug, but I have not been keeping up with that so much. I've been trying to get into editing. I have a bunch of photos of like a lot of landscape, a lot of macro photography,
Yeah.
things of that nature, random things.
Yeah. Less people, you're saying.
Yes, less people. I have like maybe like two events that I have that I feel like good about at least the photos
Okay.
in.
Yeah. I would love it, separate from this call, I would love to check it out and I can give you kind of some one-on-one feedback on maybe whether or not it's worth making yourself a second shooter and potentially getting opportunities um, to second shoot for other types of events, not weddings, but
Yeah.
those types of things. Assistant profiles, just admittedly, are harder for photographers to vet because there's nothing really visual. Like assistants aren't being hired to shoot, so really what's there is your rate, your bio. I would say go ahead and do that video bio that I talked about earlier, because that is a way that you can stand out from other people. And if you get on a screen and you're like, "Hey, I'm Jay. This is what I bring to the table. This is who I am," and your personality is coming out, people are gonna be like, "Hey, I want him around helping me on this shoot because I can see that he's going to be awesome. So definitely do that. And again, once I review your work that you send over, if I think
Mhm.
that it makes sense to have you show up in search results for second shooting for other types of events, we can get you set up for that.
Okay.
Do you have any jobs currently that you're working with somebody else as an assistant?
No.
Okay. Are you in photographer groups um, anywhere on Facebook?
Yes, I'm in a local photography club.
Okay. And they're working professionals in there, like they're people that you would want to work with.
Oh yeah, there's some people in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say go grab your shareable profile link once you kind of go through and maybe refine your bio a little bit. I would re for now, I would remove the listing of your gear because it's not relevant to assisting. Um, and just kind of refine how you're talking about yourself as an assistant. Now, if you decide you want to be a second shooter, I'd say keep it there and fully update your profile. But share your shareable profile link in those groups and just introduce yourself. Say, hey, here's my shoot with me link. If anybody needs a an assistant for an upcoming job or whatever, they can hire me, offer me the job through Shoot with Me. It might be worth like if there are people that you think would be a good fit maybe for a job or two, you just do it for free and you consider it gaining experience and
Oh
whatever,
yeah.
and you get that review. Um, and all of a sudden, like you have that relationship built, they probably pay you anyway, or pay you, tip you or something.
Yeah.
But really, in the grand scheme of things, if you invest, let's say, 4 hours of your time over two or three jobs, and you get three reviews out of the deal, and those reviews now all of a sudden make you stand out in your local market as the go-to assistant on Shoot With Me, it's an investment in your future. And I say the same thing to second shooters who are trying to break in. If they don't have a ton of experience, but they're showing up as $0 an hour, I can tell you with total certainty that I will just bring them along as a third shooter because I want them to have success. Not just because I want them to have success on Shoot With Me, but I remember being in that position many, many years ago where you're just hungry for that first opportunity and being willing to shoot for free for a job or two and have it build to something else. Um, that's a real blessing to somebody else. And yeah, think it over. Now, I've had that same conversation with other people who were just getting started, and for years, their mom was telling them how great of a photographer they were, and whatever. And they joined Shoot With Me, and they were like, "I'm $75 an hour," and it's like your photography looks like you took everything with a Nokia cell phone from 2000. Like you're not ready to be in that part of the market yet. And then you say, hey, why don't you shoot for free for a couple jobs? No, I know my worth. I know what my value is. And it's like, okay, like
Okay.
there's no reason, I have no reason to want somebody to not have success on Shoot With Me. Like that would be stupid. But some people just have it made up in their mind, um, you know, how they think this experience is going to go, and it can be a blocker. So I don't feel that from you in any way. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, definitely send over your. You can just reply to the email that I sent out this morning.
Okay.
Send over whatever you have, and we can chat offline.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. So next one here, Tola, you still on the call?
Yep, still here.
Perfect. Cool. Uh, Love it. How many weddings have you shot?
I would venture to say I usually estimate about 50. I take breaks off and on.
Okay.
Part of it is that my life is like I don't shoot full time. I also have a career in medicine, so like I'm trying to get back into it to
Yeah.
keep me sane.
Yeah. It's a fun outlet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, uh, you have beautiful work. Similar to some of the other chunks of feedback, like both good shots probably shouldn't be right next to each other in the portfolio. So what I would do is um, either like go into your edit profile settings and
Mm-hmm.
go to your portfolio, and anywhere that you have like two or three images from the same wedding, especially in the same lighting and the same characters and all of this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
move them around, optimize for your strongest, your absolute strongest ones to appear above the fold, right? Just like they teach for your website design, the most important thing on your website for clients finding you has to be visible from the an original screen that people see. And then when they start scrolling down, if they're seeing continuously awesome stuff, then they're like, okay, I'm sold. This person's great. So like anywhere like these, break these up. Break these up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's what I would do. And then go through your work that you're most proud of. And um, like look, this is a great shot. Like, is it you know, technically the best lighting exposure and all that, like, are there things that could be improved? Yes, absolutely. But you have the couple in the back seat, you have everybody taking pictures of them, tells a fun story. That's cool. Don't remove stuff like that just for the sake of like technical perfection in the photography part itself. Like showing emotion is going to communicate to somebody that's hiring that you know how to capture um, real authentic moments. And a lot of photographers, they'll hire that over the technical perfection every day of the week. Um, lots of your work is just gorgeous. So just move things around and make sure that you're showcasing things that truly represent the best of your work. Um, your rates are totally fine. Um, do you have any upcoming jobs with other people?
Yeah, so I've been subcontracting a lot with Yvonne's and what's called and the Orion Group just to get back into the swing of things. And I'm slowly trying to rebuild my ad strategy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I would say anybody that's hiring you, if you have a good relationship with them and you can get them to formally hire you through Shoot With Me, going from one review, like a 1 5-star review is a bajillion times better than 0 reviews. But if you can get to 20 reviews or more, 10 reviews, 5 reviews, like that is just going to incrementally make you stand out, especially since, you said you moved into the Atlanta area. That's not an area where like there's a bajillion photographers hiring. There are photographers hiring there, but you stand out by having a profile that has 6 or 8 or 10, 15 reviews. And when other photographers in your area start creating more jobs on the platform, they're going to just naturally hire you. There's a photographer close to us that when he joined Shoot With Me in the early days, he was one of the first few people to get reviewed. And he went from having 0 reviews, getting hired, getting that first one, and then he was like at 50 reviews in the blink of an eye. And people were snatching him up left and right. And he formed all these really solid relationships because he was just kind of the first person that kind of hacked the algorithm, if you will, in our local market. And he's a great photographer, great asset. I've hired him. You know, um, it's not like it was like a mirage. And if I had a wedding in the Atlanta area, based on what I'm seeing in your profile, I would have no problem hiring you. So just getting more reviews is going to be helpful. And then like I said, with everybody else, just keep every couple of weeks, just have a reminder, log in to Shoot With Me, log in, update some portfolio stuff, log out, and you're all of a sudden bumped to the top of search results. And then keep an eye out for that reviews independent from a job thing, because if you have those relationships back from Jersey that you can send that review link to and they can leave you a review, you'll be in good shape. Um, Other thing I would do is in your list of gear, probably itemize the lenses you have. Um, that's going to be helpful.
yeah, I just went through like some of my gear got stolen recently, and I've gone through a whole debacle trying to rebuild my gear arsenal. So
Yeah,
that's why that looks like that.
yeah. Cool. Any questions about your profile specifically?
No, I think this was quite helpful.
Good.
I'm gonna work on like reorganizing the images.
Yeah, perfect.
Thanks for the feedback. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
absolutely. Uh, so it looks like Deb had to bounce. Um, Anybody else want a review of their profile? Um, Marinon, do you have it looks like you just shared the base link, not the full link. Do you have yours?
Hey Nathan, yeah, I'm trying to see where, and you showed it before where you could say share link, but
So
I
if you
don't
go
see it on my
to,
profile.
yeah, if you go to the home screen for your dashboard and then come down to share your profile link, you can just click copy here.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, let me try that. You can move on to someone else for now.
You're the last one that I have, unless Ken
Oh,
wants to share one as well.
I'd like to do it in chat or
Yeah, you can just drop it in chat.
okay.
there, found
There
it.
you go.
Perfect. I'll do Ken quick and then we'll do the last one after that. Perfect. So Ken, the first thing that I'm going to point out is 85 an hour is going to be very difficult. Um, and it's not in no way is it an indictment on the work. It's just going to be I don't know if you were part of the call earlier on, um, but when photographers are considering other people in your area and they look through search results um, and they're seeing 10 quality photographers and they range in price from 55 an hour to 75 an hour, and then you're showing up as 85 an hour, the likelihood that something about you specifically stands out to the point where they're willing to pay potentially $30 an hour more than somebody else that they equally love their work, that's a significant jump. So I would say until you have some reviews, you probably want to consider reducing your hourly rate for second shooting. And again, I don't know if I mentioned this or if you knew this. You're not having to edit anything. So like you're literally showing up on the day, shooting the day, turning over the images, and the studio that hired you is handling all the editing. And then over time, eventually you can get closer to 85. I charge $70 an hour for second shooting. And um, and in my area, that's close to the upper limit. And I'd rather get a higher frequency of job offers at a slightly lower rate than make myself 70 or maybe even 80 and then all of a sudden have other people that consistently hire me say, you know what, I'm just going to hire somebody else at a cheaper rate. So that's my first observation there. The assistant rate is totally where assistants are in getting hired. That's normal. So I don't think you have to tweak that. Um, your portfolio. So right off the bat, I would max it out at 100 images. And you have a lot of beautiful work in here, and there's a lot of good stuff in there. I would probably look through your portfolio and find the parts of the day that are not featured anywhere in your portfolio. So I don't think I see any ceremony shots. So I would definitely add some ceremony, add some hair and makeup in the morning. Um, Jay, take care. Have a good rest of your day. I would add the parts of the day that people are going to want to see, just so that you have that variety. Same thing I mentioned with some others earlier, just making sure that like there's some level of like consistency in I don't know, lighting and editing. And although somebody else is going to be editing your work in the future, um, something I noticed like this has like less contrast than some of the other work here, where like this is more like muted blacks and whites. It's a beautiful shot. This is very bright. And just looking at your body of work and trying to find um, that level of consistency. So between maxing out your portfolio and showcasing all of the parts of the day that you're going to be required to shoot as a second shooter, I think those are some easy wins there. Um, and then bio looks good. Gallery links look good. I'm not clicking into them, but like having them there is helpful. List of gear is good. Skills are good. Um, see what your availability is like. It's good. The Saturdays that you're unavailable, they're just dates that you have other things going on? They're like intentionally off.
Yeah. they
Cool.
are.
Yep, cool. Um, do you primarily shoot your own weddings for your own brand?
It's a hybrid. I do some of my own. I do it with some for other companies. Just
Yeah.
gotta make sure I get weekends filled.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say any of your own weddings, like if you're hiring people, trying to do that hiring through Shoot With Me, even as the hiring side, when you hire through Shoot With Me, you're getting that review and it's going to still show up as a 5-star review here. So in your part of Illinois, like you might start outranking people very quickly because you're doing hiring and also getting hired. So I would definitely consider that. If you have some go-to people that you hire on a consistent basis and they're not on Shoot With Me, reach out and I'm happy to, help them get on in a reasonable way. So I would definitely do that. But again, the biggest thing is probably your rate. Any questions about that, or did what I said earlier make sense?
I think it's clear. I'll go back and revisit that, and I'm looking at adding some more images that are more broad spectrum of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, getting any opportunities that you have upcoming, getting those opportunities in the platform so that you can um, get those reviews, and then making sure that you have our email address whitelisted in your inbox so that when you get those job offers, you're actually seeing them. That applies to everybody that we talked to today. Um, it's the most gut-wrenching, nauseating thing for me when somebody reaches out and they're like, "Oh, I haven't ever been offered a job," and I look in our system and see that they got 12 job offers, and I have to tell them, like, you should have checked spam or you should have checked these other locations because they had thousands and thousands of dollars of job opportunities that they missed out on. So,
I'll
uh,
look into that too. I'm pretty sure I did that, but it's a good reminder. I'll check that later on today too, just to make sure.
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Um, Perfect. We'll do the last one here. Perfect. So, so Alex, same thing I mentioned to a couple other people, just looking at your portfolio, your master portfolio and making sure that in Shoot With Me you have as much diversity as possible and um, like split up images that are similar. So, these here, this whole grouping here, spread them out, rearrange things. Um, the more couples you can show, the better. It's all beautiful work. Like it's not a matter of good photography, bad photography. It's about I want to see from somebody's portfolio that they're not just showcasing 2 or 3 different couples and many shots from the day. Now, if that's all you have, okay, that's fine. That's better than nothing. Rearrange them and try not to have like images next to each other. But um, it clearly looks like you have a variety of couples, and I would just rearrange things in a way where your strongest stuff is close to the top, and like, some of these shots in here are really great. Some of these just move things around, rearrange them a little bit, and it looks like you're probably close to the 100 images in your gallery. Have your best
Maxed
ones
out.
here
Yeah,
in this
I'm
section.
maxed out.
Yeah. Um, your your rates are totally in line, and since you already have a review, 65 is probably fine. Same thing I've told everybody else, like the faster you can get to more reviews, the better. So remind me, do you shoot with your wife? Is that right?
No,
Oh, is that
I shoot myself.
somebody else I talked to?
Yeah,
So
myself, and then I hire, a second.
okay. And is the second on shoot with me currently?
No, this is a guy I've been working with for a long time.
Okay. So, if they're open to being on the platform, reach out to me. We can work something out. We want to make it really easy for people to get those reviews. And if somebody is working with somebody else consistently over time and they're not able to get those reviews on shoot with me in an easy way, it's kind of a lose-lose for everybody. Because I want you to show up in search results when locals have hiring needs, and I want them to have confidence, excuse me, in hiring you. And if I can engineer a scenario where all of a sudden you're showing up with 20 reviews and you're gaining all that traction, it's a win for that studio who needs to hire somebody new. It's a win for you because you're getting booked more often. And it's a win for your second shooter because now maybe they're getting opportunities from other people as well. And everybody kind of benefits by getting that review traction. So I would say keep an eye on that. Your badges, being a fast responder, just keep responding quickly to job offers. Try to keep your calendar as updated as possible because the more jobs you accept, you keep that high acceptance rate. That's going to be very attractive to people. Um, let's see. Um, might have to look at your bio video. Make sure the link in there is the right one. It should be a YouTube link or a Vimeo link if it's not. Um, Otherwise, yeah, everything that we talked about earlier with the multiple languages, the skill sets you have. Again, just make sure when you review the skills that you have, I'm not going to do it in detail now, but make sure that you're showcasing um, everything that you have mentioned down here in your portfolio. Um, Otherwise, people might just look at that as a red flag. But I think you're in good shape once you rearrange your initial portfolio screen. I think you're well on your way.
Great, thank you.
Cool. So last thing for those of you that are still here, the four of you guys, we have we have that certification thing that I talked about. If any of you are looking to um, just give yourself an additional edge. I have a 50% off coupon for anybody that wants to consider the certification program. Um, and essentially, what it is it's a series of video classes you can go through for assistants, second shooters, and lead photographers. And the 50% coupon will get you 50% off. You pass an assessment at the end, and then you earn a badge on your profile that just enables you to stand out from other people in your area. So if people are comparing apples to apples, and all of a sudden this person has a certification, um, it's a lot more likely that they're going to hire the person with the certification because they know that you have that proficiency. So I'm dropping that in the chat, the coupon code. No pressure if you don't want to take advantage of it. That's totally fine. If you do, once you complete the assessment, I apply that to your profile, and we have noticed a significant uptick in job offers to people who have the certification versus those that don't. So, um, yeah, that's it. Anybody have any other questions that I can answer now? I know we are hour 40 into this call. I hope it was helpful for you guys. Um, any questions? No? Cool. Hey, thank you so much for joining. We're going to be doing this on a semi regular basis, pretty much every other Thursday. Um, some of the content will be the same, some of it will be different. So, kind of depending on who joins and where they're specifically at, I might be addressing different things for each group. But essentially, the core of it will be very similar. So you're welcome to join if you want to, or if you want to pop in from time to time, you're welcome to do that as well. But each Thursday that we do it, I'll be sending out the Zoom link that morning, and we'll go from there. So, guys, thanks again, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Yep. Take care.